I did everything I was supposed to do, and when it wasn't enough, I realized the problem wasn't me. If you're new here, I was furloughed and laid off last year. Been trying to figure it out since. Of course, would like to get back to being employed, probably in the corporate space, because that's the way the world works. But all that to say, I'm still navigating it, and while I see a ton of travel content here, it's not everything. There is life outside of travel, and I think it's super important to talk about those things, especially when we go through um, crazy life changes like this. And today, it was really interesting. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who's going through something similar, and she brought up how important it is to talk about these topics. So today, thought I'd talk a little bit about redefining safety when nothing is guaranteed. Safety is not only, things that are tangible, but also the intangibles. So things like your financial safety and security, and maybe I should say security instead of safety. So redefining security when nothing is guaranteed. So when things aren't guaranteed, of course, we think a lot about our financial security because our 9 to 5s are the thing that keeps us financially secure. Of course, there's the side hustles and all that stuff that other people do these days, but it doesn't necessarily replace the security you have from the income at your corporate life. And being based in, I'm based in the United States, so when the healthcare isn't, you got to pay for it, or your company pays for it. So, not having the security of a good healthcare and affordability in healthcare is also a scary thing. But there's, of course, there's options, and I think just kind of shifting how you define security and maybe just get some clarity around that is super, super helpful. And it's going to look different for everyone. So, what works for me may not work for you. Also, there's the emotional versus the institutional safety of things, or security. I decided saying security and not safety. Sorry about that. There's emotional security. I think part of that comes from what our roles in our 9 to 5s do for us. I think they give us a lot of um, defining or definition of who we are, which is kind of silly because they're not all we are. But there's a safety in that. There's a confidence in that. There's a social acceptability in that. And when that's gone, obviously it's a little weird. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel normal. It feels a little bit uncomfortable, and you have to navigate that and really be comfortable and own to the place you are in life. Um, versus having, again, that institutional safety or security. It's not just, excuse me, it's just not the emotional safety, it's emotional and the institutional safety. So that can be a tough thing to navigate as well. It's interesting how our jobs really do take on such a big portion of our identity and who we are, and being a part of a corporate 9 to 5, as an example, is there's a safety in that of you have a job, you have people in your network, your coworkers that are helping you to move forward in your career and progress your skills. And when that's all gone, yeah, that security is not there. That is almost like a little bit of a security blanket, and it it reminds you that unfortunately we are replaceable, and you have to trust yourself versus the corporate system. You can only place so much trust in a corporate system. And it's the unfortunate reality of things. It's just truth. It's not a comfortable truth. It's not a happy truth. But at the end of the day, your work life is out of your hands. It's in the hands of somebody else, and their decision on whether or not they want to keep you on or let you go. They can do it at the drop of a hat. May or may not see it coming. And it's life changing. It's horrible. It's never a fun thing. So you really have to trust yourself. I've said it many times. You have to trust yourself and your capabilities, and believing in who you are and what you're capable of and what you can accomplish, and knowing what you want from your life and your work and your future. So that can be yeah, that can be a little bit scary, a little uncomfortable, and there is a discomfort of those self-directed systems, and there's not a playbook for it. There, I mean, some people could probably argue there's a playbook for being laid off, but there's not a playbook for life. There's not a playbook for your life. You get to write it. So that's part of beauty of this human experience, and it's not always comfortable. In fact, it probably shouldn't be comfortable. If it's comfortable, you're not growing. You're not, that's not just personal growth statement. That's also growing in skills and career and everything that plays into your future. So yeah, so there's a discomfort with that, and um, in the systems that you are creating for yourself and following for yourself, and just hoping that you've done your or maybe made your best educated guess on these things. So yeah, it's uncomfortable, and it's a little bit scary, but it's something that's navigable. You're not the first person to go through this, and it's the more you talk about it, the more people you're gonna find who have advice and wisdom around the situation. So I definitely suggest as you go through this, build internal anchors versus external ones. Don't make your job or your role at your company your anchor, your guiding light or whatever you want to call it. Like build ones that are internally you, uh, that speak to who you are as a person, your values, not the company's values. I've never been in the company that I feel really embodied the values that they so happily and colorfully usually stick up on the wall in the office space we can just see it over the top of the cubicle. Um, I've always made sure that I follow my own internal compass, my own internal anchors of knowing what I want in this one life I get to live, and this one career I get to build, whether that looks traditional or not. So I think they're super helpful for when in times of uncertainty, you can always go back to them. Um, and they may or may not be clear to you, but definitely take the time to sit down and think about it. So all that to say, if you're in this situation, I promise you're not broken for wanting more. The system just wasn't built for who you've become. Maybe you've outgrown your role, and this was the way that the universe or who or whatever you believe in is redirecting you. All that to say, I'll stop jabbering now. As always, I'm excited to have you here and keep building and exploring, and I'll just catch you on the next one. Bye.